Scott, last week we talked a little bit about consistency and what you're looking from the team. Maybe an update. How do you feel the team fared in that category last weekend in Grand Forks?
Not good enough. We didn't have the kind of effort and intensity level that you needed on a Friday night. Conversely, we lost a game, and they found more of that on Saturday. We won a hockey game, so it starts there.
Safe to say Friday was a step back, but Saturday maybe 1-2 steps forward in that category, though, for the guys?
We won a hockey game, which is the most important thing, but we need to be a better team over the course of the weekend. We haven't been a very good team lately, and in order to win consistently or give yourself a chance to win, you've got to bring it every night. And we're at the end of February. I mean, we're at the end of the year here, so you can't get excited about playing at this time of the year. And if you look at the year we've had, that's up to the players. We're going to do everything we can as a staff to prepare them. They've got to go in the ice and play. And I'm not going to sit and point fingers at anybody. We're all in this together. But to me, you got to be ready to play hockey games at this time of the year. And for whatever reason, in a few of the last 3 or 4 weekends, we haven't been ready to play our game and do the things we need to do, shift in and shift out to win a game.
Is there a difference with the consistency you feel like offensively and defensively? I thought last weekend was a pretty good defensive showing for you guys.
Well, I think we've been a pretty good defensive team all year, but it just comes down to competing. And I've been asked that question a lot. If you're willing to compete, you're going to give yourself a chance. If you don't want to compete, shift in and shift out, especially going into a place like North Dakota. They play hard. Guys know that, and you have to be prepared to outwork them, not get outworked. The disappointing thing in some games is we've been outworked, and that is not an MO for this team. And it is not acceptable for this team to get outworked. Now, we can go out and still work hard and do the things we need to do. We still might not win games, but we're going to give ourselves a chance more than we're not. And that's what we've got to get back to.
Was Saturday a good example of you mentioned last week too about dictating how the game goes, the guys adapting and letting the game come to them and maybe not trying to force things? Was Saturday a good example of that?
Well, it was better. I mean, certainly you see the importance of special teams when you get into games like that. And, there are games you just sometimes don't get a lot of chances. And maybe some of those chances in the game might not be as the numbers might not be for both teams, but there were certainly some quality chances both ways. And you know what? When you get in those games, you might score, you might not score, but we took advantage of the 5-on-3s. We took advantage of some of their undisciplined penalties, and we won the special teams game, which allowed us to win a hockey game 3-2. Other than that, it was a good game. Wasn't a great game, probably by either standard, but both teams had a lot to do with that. So yeah, I mean, hopefully it's something that you learn from. Last 2 Saturdays we've kind of been in, games very similar. So, and I expect more moving forward. But we found a way to win, and that was the most important thing. And we've got to build off that here against Miami.
Is that kind of a Saturday game, kind of a preview of what's to come, where you don't have either team giving up a whole lot, and the team that does the best job with their opportunities is going to be the one that wins?
Well, our last two opponents have been pretty good defensive teams. Much like ourselves. I mean, Denver doesn't usually give up much. North Dakota is always strong defensively too. So I know Miami coming in here too is, they can be. They play heavy. They can make it miserable offensively as far as not giving you time and space down low. Same thing up the rink. So I just think it's going to be that way all the way through. I mean, teams do get better defensively. The room on the rink and the ice you got to fight for gets harder. It's contested out more and more. Because. That's just the way it is this time of the year. So I'm glad our power play scored some goals. Hopefully they can, continue to build confidence. Our penalty kill's been solid all year. But just our overall game can be better. I mean, I think we've all seen what kind of team we can be, and I think our players know what kind of team they can be. It's got to be, you got to get in the right mindset now. I mean, this is go time. This is go time. This is, these are 4 big games coming up for us, before playoffs. And it's like I reminded our players the other day, the only guarantee you have is 6 games left. You got 4 regular season and you're guaranteed 2 in the playoffs, and that's it. So if we want more, then we've got to earn it.
You say your penalty kill's been solid all year, but it's been unbelievable all year. I mean, it's incredible how effective it's been.
Yeah, the numbers are good.
Comfortable on the penalty.
The numbers are good. The numbers are good. Big part of that is Shep, obviously.
Yep.
Let's not kid ourselves. I mean, he's been great for us all year, and so when you have a guy like that, you probably do get a little more comfortable knowing he's going to make the saves he needs to make. But again, we've still got work to do on it. There's still areas that we can get better. I thought we got lucky again a couple times at North Dakota, just getting caught out of position and have guys trying to do a little too much. We gave up a goal off a rush, which I don't know if we've done that much at all this year off the rush, and that was just again just not good positioning and guys not reacting, and those are the things that can happen. So as long as our group doesn't get complacent with relying on our goaltender, and we're willing to do some things a little bit better, it'll continue to hopefully stay there. But biggest thing is let's make sure we're disciplined down the stretch. Don't give teams too many opportunities, and because if you start getting into a penalty-filled game, then guys get tired, and sometimes your kill can go the other way.
Well, you talk about them looking comfortable, but you can't be comfortable, right? Killing a penalty. They might look comfortable.
I don't think you should be comfortable in any part of a game, right? You know what I mean? Whether it's penalty killing, power play, 5-on-5. And you know what? Whether you win a game, you shouldn't get comfortable. You should always want more. And I think that's something that's this team's got to learn, and I think kids nowadays, when they have success, sometimes they don't know how to deal with it. And but you gotta learn to deal with it, just like you gotta learn to deal with some adversities. So to me, it comes back to a mindset. It comes back to what drives you. And we've had a couple good talks as a team, and what drives this group. And I think, like I said, I think there's a lot of really good parts. I think we have a really good hockey team when we play the way we can and how we need to play. But we tend to stray from that, and we've got to stay the course and play the game hard and play it the right way and do the things that we're asking them to do. And we need that out of everybody, because that's the kind of team we have. We're not going to have 1 or 2 guys go out there and do it themselves. So we've got to play as a team and work hard as a team and compete as a team, and keep an even keel and not have the highs and lows.
Scott, I know you said Miami can make life tough for you defensively, but offensively they haven't scored a goal on you since November of 2017. What do you attribute to that?
Good goaltending again. Even Saturday when we played them, they had 2 or 3 really good looks in the beginning of the game that came off turnovers. We gave them some really, really juicy opportunities, but they didn't score. And the team we're playing this weekend is not the same team we saw when we played them in Miami. Their captain's back in Melnick. He's a leader for them. He's a really good player. They're playing after that losing streak. They put some wins together. They're getting better goaltending. I think their team is playing with more confidence than maybe when we saw them in January. So again, they're trying to become a better hockey team too. And you look at them in the first year of the league. They finished 8th, but they still won the NCHC playoff title. That's how tight our league is, and that's why there's been splits, and that's why it's hard. It's hard in this league to win 2 games, and the only team that's been able to do that consistently is St. Cloud, and it tells you how good a team they are, because they've been able to do that. And But you also have a team there, I think, that's very motivated from last year, and I think it's showing this year and the year that they've had.
Coach, at this point in the season, how tough is it for the guys to not pay attention to standings, whether it's, thinking about home ice or even the pairwise? How tough is it with just a couple series left?
Well, I think you should look at it. I think you all know where we're at. I mean, one of our goals, you start the year, you want to win the league. That's number one. And number two is if you're not winning the league, you want to get home ice. So we're in a good position right now. But if we let it slip away, we're going to be in a battle right to the end and having to go into St. Cloud and get points in a tough building where they haven't lost all year. So, but I'm not looking ahead to St. Cloud, but I think it's that time of the year. It should motivate you, there's no question. But I think sometimes our guys look at, hey, we're fine, we're in a good spot, and, you get a little complacent. And this isn't the time to be complacent. Like I said earlier, you've got to battle and you've got to work hard every day and you've got to bring it. And when you show up at the rink to play on a Friday, Saturday, you've got to bring your best. And in order to win consistently in this league, you have to bring your best. And we're going to get tested this weekend again. And if we take this team, if we don't respect this team that's coming in here, we won't win. And it's that simple, because they're a good hockey team too. And we need to have the right mindset. So you respect every team that you play, and you play your game, and if it's good enough to win, then you're going to win. If not, you got to get back at it the next night and see what you can do. But we've got to build some consistency and not going game to game. We've got to be, if we win one, we've got to put some wins together. And I'm not focused solely on the wins. It's more of how we need to play. And if we start focusing on just we got to win, then we're probably not going to. If we work on focusing on what we need to do, shift in and shift out over the course of 3 periods, we're going to be in better shape. And that's what the focus needs to be.